The question of the day I have for you guys on the Chiefs Report is this. Will Kansas City sign Chris Jones long-term? If you think it's yes, type Y. If you think it's no, go ahead and type in. We got a lot of Chiefs rumors and news to get into, including a lot about Chris Jones, starting right now. All right, Fansided put out this article that the Chris Jones dilemma is the biggest hurdle for Brett Veach in his tenure as the Kansas City Chiefs general manager. And it's a fair point, right? I mean, this is a big decision that the Chiefs have to make on what they do with Chris Jones long term. And I know a lot of us sitting at home are probably like, isn't the decision just sign him and not worry about anything else? Well, it's not that simple. It's not simple when you have the best player in the NFL in Patrick Mahomes, who you pretty much have to pay whatever he wants. Now, I don't know if Mahomes is going to demand $45 million, but he might, and if he does, you're going to have to pay him. We know the latest reports are that Jones and the Chiefs, while they've had contact, there hadn't been discussions in terms of contract talks. Like, that has not taken place since the Chiefs placed him under the franchise tag. He has not signed his franchise tag. He's not participated in off-season virtual OTAs and stuff like that. So the question we all want to know is, can they get a deal done with Jones before that July 15th deadline? There's three options here. It's pretty simple. Jones plays under the tag this year, which might be the most likely option at this point. Number two, which is second most likely, sign him to a long-term deal. Maybe it's 1A and 1B. I'll put those at about 45% each, and then I'll put trading him before the season at 10%. It's still possible. I don't think it's super likely. I think if that would have happened, it would have been during the draft, but that is another option for Kansas City when it comes to deciding what to do with Chris Jones. I'll leave it up to you. What would you do with the Chiefs defensive tackle? Type S for sign him, or type T for trade him. Let me know what you guys think. I'll make this the pinned comment on today's video, so if you get hit with the ad break, go ahead and scroll on down and answer this question. And more on this story, I mean, obviously, look, we all want to keep Chris Jones in Kansas City. There's not a single Chiefs fan out there that is like, he's not worth keeping. He's one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL. Outside of Aaron Donald, he's the most disruptive interior defensive lineman we have in the National Football League. He is that good. That's not an exaggeration. 24.5 sacks over the past 2 years is as good of a production as you'll find from an interior defensive lineman. He's been excellent. I want him in Kansas City long term. It's all going to come down to money, and what Brett Veach and this organization decides is worth it at the end of the day. And look, this defensive line is pretty good. You take Chris Jones out, though, that's a significant drop-off. Kalen Saunders, Mike Pennell, good players, more run stoppers. You don't have a pass rusher on the inside if you lose Chris Jones. It's just that simple. So I'm fascinated to see how this plays out. The Chiefs have about 6 weeks, maybe even more like 5 weeks, to get this done before that July 15th deadline. Because if you ask me, if he plays under the tag this year, I don't think he's coming back next year. I think they're going to have to trade him or simply let him go. All right, the deal of the day on the Chiefs Report is this Stronger Together gear. We got T-shirts, we got hoodies. Go to chatsports.com/KCStrong. I'll put that link in the comments and in the description. You can get these deals on sale for a cheap price. T-shirts less than $20 right now. Hoodies less than $40 right now. Chatsports.com/KCStrong. Father's Day is approaching June 21st. T-shirt like this, it's only going to cost you like $15. It's a good, effective, and cost-efficient gift to get your old man. I suggest you do so at chatsports.com/KCStrong. Next up here is Tyreek Hill, the best wide receiver in the NFL. Well, Nate Burleson thinks so. He named Tyreek Hill the best wide receiver in the NFL, saying that he is the most dangerous wideout in the National Football League. We'll get into more on that in just a little bit. Now, Tyreek did miss 5 games in 2019, but he's talked about his offseason training and how he expects a big year in 2020. Here's some of the stuff he's been doing, saying, I've been doing yoga 2 times a week. So I'm getting into yoga a lot. I've been trying to open up my hips a little more and open up my glutes, things like that. I've been feeling amazing, and I've been getting out of my routes even better. It's going to be crazy. I feel like this is going to be a crazy year for me, so I'm excited. What do you guys think? Is Tyreek Hill the best wide receiver in the NFL? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. He's certainly in the conversation. There's a lot of good wide receivers in the National Football League. Is he the best? That's up for discussion. I think with Patrick Mahomes, you could definitely argue that he is the best. Now, Nate Burleson, this is what he had to say when defending Tyreek Hill, saying, look, I'm going with Tyreek Hill. It's a little bit of a twist. I just feel like he is the most dangerous, and it also has to do with his quarterback, deep ball thrower in Patrick Mahomes. I can say Julio, of course, when Antonio was playing. Mike Thomas is a phenomenal talent. But I mean, dangerous, though? Tyreek Hill is a freak of nature. That's what Nate Burleson thought about Tyreek Hill. This is what he's done in his NFL career. Like I mentioned, missed 5 games last year. That's why the numbers are down, but that's still really good production in 11 games. The most crazy stat, in my opinion, of Tyreek Hill is since he's entered the league, 17 touchdowns of 50-plus yards. That's 8 more than anybody else. That is a ridiculous stat for Tyreek Hill and one of the most insane stats in the NFL. I think it is the most insane stat. He's a game breaker. That's what Nate Burleson is talking about when he says he's the most dangerous. I expect a big year from Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill expects a big year out of himself. We'll see what happens in 2020. We got a Chiefs mailbag coming soon, so you guys know the drill. Use hashtag Chiefs and ask your question down in the comment section. You can also tweet at me at HGramNFL. Easiest way, though, just comment below, use hashtag Chiefs, and then ask your questions. I'll get to as many of them as I can. We'll film a mailbag later on in the week and get that up on the channel just for you guys. Tyrann Mathieu opened up on Twitter this week. Really, this stemmed from Pro Football Focus tweeting that Tyrann Mathieu was like the 4th most valuable Cardinal of the last decade, which did not make him happy because he was obviously an all-pro caliber player in Arizona. But a Kansas City Chiefs fan tried to make him feel better by saying, hey, you're already a top 3 Chiefs player of all time. He pumped the brakes on that. He said, no, I'm not there yet. I've only been in Kansas City for 1 season. He named Derek Thomas, Patrick Mahomes, and Will Shields as his top 3 Chiefs ever. Obviously, Derek Thomas, widely regarded as the best Kansas City Chief ever. Patrick Mahomes well on his way to being that. And then Will Shields, who's kind of one of the under-the-radar Chiefs, but a 14-year player in Kansas City, good offensive lineman. He is certainly up there as well. Who is the greatest Chief of all time in your eyes? You're allowed to put Patrick Mahomes. I don't think he's there yet. He's definitely in the top 5, even despite only playing for a couple of years. But who do you think is the greatest Chief ever? Go ahead and comment down below. All right, here's my list, and keep in mind, I'm younger. I'm in my mid-20s here, so if you guys want to comment a player from 1974, then more power to you. But Derek Thomas, obviously, excellent player, one of the greatest NFL players ever, not just Chief. Patrick Mahomes, he has to be in the mix. Jamal Charles, if he could have stayed healthy and still be playing with Mahomes, this offense would be even more ridiculous. Derek Johnson, I'm a big fan of him as well. And then Tony Gonzalez. I know some Chiefs fans are still bitter about how things ended and how he went to Atlanta and all of that stuff, but he's one of the greatest Chiefs of all time. There's no disputing that. So that's my list. Go ahead and let me know what you guys think in the comments section. And while you're doing that, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We crossed 5,000 subs about a week ago. Let's keep this thing growing. Let's shoot all the way up to 10,000 as soon as possible. We got videos going up several times per week, 3 or 4 videos right now. I want to do daily videos, but we don't have enough subscribers to do that yet. So go ahead and subscribe, turn on notifications so you never miss a video here on the Chiefs Report. ESPN did an interesting thing, I'm going to call it a redraft, a draft from scratch, basically a fantasy draft. Like if you've ever played Madden, like an online franchise, and you can just pick a team and draft whoever you want, that's basically what they did. So they had all 32 of their NFL writers. They have a writer for every NFL team. And they did this draft, snake draft style. Now, the first round was based on the draft order from this year, 2020. So the Bengals had the number 1 pick. They took Patrick Mahomes, no surprise. Kansas City took Stephon Gilmore with the last pick in the first round, which actually isn't bad. We'll get more to the Chiefs picks here in a little bit because there's some interesting ones. Here were the top 5 picks. A lot of quarterbacks in the first round. I think 21 of the 32 picks were quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, and Aaron Donald. Mahomes going to the Bengals, Russell Wilson going to the Redskins, Lamar Jackson going to the Lions, Watson to New York, and then Aaron Donald to the Dolphins. By the way, Donald's good, but top 5, there's more quarterbacks out there that are more valuable in terms of building a franchise, which, by the way, the goal of this draft for these writers was to try and build a franchise that can win a Super Bowl within 5 years. I don't know if Aaron Donald helps you do that. So we all know, it's just a fact at this point, Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the NFL. Who's the second best, though? I just showed you the top 5 picks in this redraft. Would you go Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson? At pure player, you could argue it's Aaron Donald. He's not the second most valuable, though. Who's the second best player in the National Football League? Go ahead and let me know. All right, this is what the Chiefs ended up with. Adam Teacher does good work, but I got to shake my head here. Gilmore, good pick, because a lot of quarterbacks were off the board. You know, when you get the 32 overall pick in this type of scenario, you're not going to get a good quarterback. So I don't blame them for that. But like I mentioned, snake style. So they picked back-to-back. Dalvin Cook, I don't know. Like, he was the second running back taken behind Christian McCaffrey. I don't think I would have gone there. And then he took another running back in Nick Chubb. That's probably the biggest head scratcher, to go 2 running backs in this scenario. And then Tyrod Taylor, again, I'm not going to rip him for what he ended up with at quarterback. The best one available once he picked at 32 was Cam Newton, and we don't know if he's healthy. I'm not going to rip Adam Teacher for that, but this was certainly an interesting exercise. The Chiefs got significantly worse, obviously, than their current core. So let's be grateful that they do have Patrick Mahomes, who is the best player in the NFL. They have guys like Tyreek Hill and McCole Hardman and Chris Jones, and the list goes on and on. But we all can agree that Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the NFL, and he's a Kansas City Chief.